Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this week's options watch list. Before I get into the watch list, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media accounts. Also, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Right now, the put to call ratio is at 0.91 for the week. It's kind of high, but it's been higher. Over 1 has been like the trigger point on it. So 1 to 1.1. It's slightly under 1.0. So it's not really that high, but it is kind of high, but just not lately. The new norm has been changing. So yeah, with the economic calendar for the week. Monday, we new home sales at 10 a.m. Not really much. Don't really care about that. Tuesday, consumer confidence at 10 o'clock. Get Fed speakers all day. FOMM speakers. We got someone at 10, 10:05, 10:45, 1:05, and 3:30. So we get a lot of Fed speakers throughout the day on Tuesday. So keep an eye on that. They'll move the market. So Wednesday, don't really see anything. Well, we got preliminary GDP that could have an impact on the market. Monday morning at 8:30, we have the beige book at 2 o'clock. Sometimes this does end up being movers, but most of the time it's not. I think only a couple times I've seen the beige book move the market, but lately FOMC really hasn't done anything. FOMC has been kind of trash, but I expect that will probably pick up pretty soon. And the bond auctions have been the real winners lately, and I don't see any right now as of yet. So Thursday, we have unemployment claims, core PCE price index. We have Chicago PMI at 945. So a couple things. FOM speaker at 905. So really not too much. Unemployment claims at 8:30 will probably be the big one. So we'll have to see what that does. Now Friday pre-market, we have ISM manufacturing PMI and prices. And we have a Fed speaker, and we have Powell speaking at 11 a.m. on Friday. So make a note of that. Friday at 11 a.m. Powell is speaking. What is he speaking at? Due to participate at a fireside chat titled Navigating Pathways to Economic Mobility at Spelman College in Atlanta. So definitely keep an eye on that. Friday at 11 a.m. Now I'm going to be keeping an eye on pretty much the same stocks that I talked about last week on the watch list. I mean, last week was such a short week. Not much really happened. VIX got hammered on. Last time VIX was this low was back in 113.20 before the COVID crash. And VIX will not stay under 13. If it does go underneath 12, it will be bought up really quickly. I don't anticipate it getting under 12, but never say never. There's too much going on for VIX to be under 12, even under 13, even under 15 at this point. But it is what it is. It's at 12.46 right now. It could possibly just have a quick crush to under 12 and then just end up taking off. But every time it's been under 12, well, back it up 5 years, we can look at it better. Every time it's been under 12 right here, pop right there. So it does not stay under 12 very long, maybe a week. We'll have to see what happens. So if it gets under 12, I'll probably end up buying some getting some VIX calls out in a couple weeks. See if the question is, what is it going to be that's going to bring the market down? That's the real question. We don't know. Something will end up happening. So with that said, SPY. A couple things I want to point out about SPY. SPY is up here. It filled the gap from over here. It's kind of topping. I had a topping candle right there a little bit. Doji right there at the top. But the thing I want to point out is Got resistance right here at the 455. Well, right there, 450. 455 and 460, but we have the inverted head and shoulders on the weekly. You get the left shoulder right here, a big head, and a right shoulder right here. I'm going to go on a limb and say I don't anticipate it breaking over this and having a huge push. I mean, we've already gone too far as it is. We're having a huge bearish divergence on the hourly. I mean, look at the RSI is going down as price is going up. RSI on the daily is over 70. We don't normally go that far above 70. Yeah, it popped a little bit right here, but it finally rejected, and then it rejected up here. It took a little while, but yeah, we hit a little bit up here, and then it rejected. Kind of similar what's going on here to here. It's kind of a similar setup. It popped up a little bit, consolidated, had a massive push. Popped up, consolidated, massive push, then it gapped down and just started dumping. So we'll have to see if something causes the dump on this or not. I mean, we're still going into the Santa rally. I mean, technically, we've already had the Santa rally. I mean, Santa rallies don't always go to Christmas Day. I mean, they could end a week or two into December, or they could go all the way until the end of December. But the Santa rally does not always come and go right on Christmas Day. So, but I just don't see SPY getting up to 460 and raging to 480 on a massive push on the weekly chart without it at least stalling out or pulling back some. It needs to cool off the RSI. We have tons of gaps to fill. We get a gap fill from right here. This was from the inflation numbers, the government numbers, I should say. The government inflation numbers. They're saying inflation's going down. Inflation's not going down. The government's full of shit. Inflation's not going down. And you saw all the videos and all the things circulating about Black Friday, that the stores were empty and nobody's actually at lines. Other Black Fridays, people are going crazy. There's lines, there's store pandemonium and madness. And this year, there's hardly anybody even there. So that just shows you that the economy is really bad. Retail sales are not up. It's all bullshit and lies. The government's just fabricating these numbers probably to make Biden look good for going into election and stuff like that. So just government lies like usual. So inflation is not really going down. It's, if anything, it's probably rising a little bit. And retail sales are not going up. Credit card debt is like at an all-time high. Retail sales is going down regardless of what's being said. And we've got lots of gaps to fill down here. From the inflation numbers to 440, we get a gap right here at 432. We get gaps down here at 425. Get a small gap right there. Is there really a gap there though? High is 418.53. the gap is literally like 10 cents. So really not much to think about. But the one down here at 425, we got lots of gaps down here to fill. So we'll have to see what happens this week. I don't imagine this inverted head and shoulders is gonna play out right away. The RSI needs to go up. Even if we do like pull back to like the 445, 446 area, or even 440. I mean, that could be enough to cool things off, then go back up to 460 and make that push. We'll have to see. But normally when we have Santa rallies, the new year, we have hangovers. January and February ends up being a shit show, and that's when we end up seeing things go down. So we'll have to see. But with that said, I'll watch SPY underneath 453 for push to 450, 445 or 446 for gap support, 445 to 440 for gap fill. Then we get 440, 435, gap fill to 430. So SPY's got room down. So I'm probably going to be looking more to the downside. But I'll try to be open-minded. If it gaps down, I'll try to see if it does end up playing a little bit of a little exaggerated push to 457 or even 458 before it ends up coming down. Because usually we have an exaggerated push before we actually have a dump like we had here. You get a little bit of a push right here on Wednesday. Yeah, this is Friday. Yeah, Wednesday, because Thursday was Thanksgiving. So, yeah. we'll just take it day by day and see how the market opens and opens up and gaps up or gaps down. And lately, the market has just had so much movement in the pre-market and after hours that when the day opens, there's just nothing there. So hopefully, it's better with that. So QCOM, same exact stocks I've been looking at. QCOM is actually gapped down and it went and filled the gap and it pulled back. So I would watch QCOM underneath one. You can even say 127, or if you want to say 126, for push to 125. You get a gap fill right down here to 124. You get gap support down here, technically at 114, 114.50, but it's you could end up seeing some support 125 and 120. But yeah, let's get gap supports right down here at the 114, 115 area. Actually, sorry, 114.50 and 117. So definitely keep an eye on that. I think that could end up playing out. Plus, QCOM's been in a range. It likes to reject the top of the Keltner channel on the weekly, which it did here, and pulls back down to the 106 area, 105 area. So we may see the same thing on that. So keep an eye on QCOM. Roku, I don't have much high hope. Roku has just been one of those things that anytime it starts to pop, it just gets hammered on. The weekly setting up, though, I mean, it looks like it could pop on the weekly, but every time it looks like it's getting ready to pop, it gets hammered on and hammered on. So to me, I'm just going to say that nothing's changed. I mean, RSI is above 70. Bearish divergence going on the week. On the hourly RSI is going down. This price is going up. So I would watch Roku underneath what's that, 95.50 right now. We could even say 94 or even 93. It's under 93. You see 90, 85, you know, get 80 support right here, and then you got 70 support right here from the earnings gap up. So we'll have to see if it does. I mean, Roku gets to the top of the Keltner channel on the weekly and gets hammered on. So it's got room to fall to at least 65. So definitely keep an eye on Roku. Roku doesn't like to go anywhere. Apple started to pull back on Friday, even though SPY didn't. Got a inside down day, top right here, and it's starting to pull back. So I'd watch Apple underneath 189 for a push down to 185, 180, 175 right here from the earnings right there. So I'll have to see how far that will go. RCT trend line's down here, 175. Weekly Keltner channel is coming up pretty close to it right there. So bottom of the Keltner channel, the trend line right here is down at 160. It could come back to retest that 160 trend line on the weekly, so which is down here. But we'll have to see. It could most likely, if it does drop, probably bounces off the RCT trend line on the daily. So keep an eye on Apple. Amazon is in Christmas mode, so there could be some hype about that. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I should say, which is tomorrow, could end up being a nice little catalyst for Amazon to pop. So I would watch it over 148, push to 150, maybe even 160, 170. 180, 190. I'm just going to assume that this is going to invert a head and shoulders too. You get the left, you get the head and the right shoulder. This could probably break out just because of Cyber Monday and Christmas hopium, I should say. So Amazon could end up taking off just on that. So it is their season to do that. So we'll have to see if that actually happens. Boeing, I'm starting to find a little bit of resistance in this 220 area. RSI is kind of going down a little bit, especially right here, right there. Technically, it's been going down over here. It's kind of flattening if you count from back here, from over here. So flattening, and that's rising. Still a bearish divergence if you look at it that way. Daily RSI is over 80. That's way too high. Boeing just kind of like Roku. Anytime it gets any sign of life, it gets hammered on. It does have a lot of resistance right here on the weekly, right around that 215 area, which it cleared because it's at 220, but it could come down to the 215 and gets underneath this 215 or 216 area right here. We could end up seeing a drop down to 200. Well, this got gap support right here, 203. So, yeah, I'd watch it underneath 218 for push down to 210 to 205 and 203. and it does manage to break gap support right here at 200. Big psychological number, and probably make a gap fill at 195. So it could come back right back into this range again on BA. So keep an eye on that. Disney. Disney's just kind of like Roku. It gets to the top of the Keltner channel on the weekly and gets hammered on. Anytime it gets a sign of life, it gets hammered on. Top of the Keltner channel, hammered on. Top of the Keltner channel, hammered on. Can't speak right. Right here, top of the Keltner channel. Started to have a nice little run on Friday, but bearish divergence right here on the hourly. The RSI is going down. Price is going up. RSI is above 72, 73 on the daily. I'd watch it underneath 94 for gap support right here at 93, gap 92 for a gap fill, 90, 88, gap support right here from earnings at 88, 87. Then you get gap fill down here at the 85 area. So Disney could end up having a nice little drop, fall off on that. Microsoft, same thing. Microsoft is just out nowhere land for the AI hype. Starting to have a little bit of weakness on the daily a little bit. Got some red candles. Inside candle right here. Let me see, is that an inside candle? Yeah, it's inside candle from Friday. So we could have an inside down day, possibly on that. Another thing I want to point out, bearish divergence going on the hourly. RSI is dropping as price is rising. And on the weekly right here, price is rising as RSI is dropping, and the RSI is over 73 on the weekly. A hidden divergence going on right here as this higher high, and RSI is flattening right there. So I got a not hidden, just a regular bearish divergence, not a hidden. Hidden would be down here. My brain is just fried. But yeah, you can also see it on the histogram. You can see it on the RSI and the histogram. So seeing bearish divergences on large time frames on multiple indicators is definitely a huge, because you get it on MACD, you get it on histogram, you get it on RSI. So eventually this is going to end up falling. The question is when, not if. Microsoft could keep going to 400. Who knows? With all this AI excitement, who knows? Who really knows? Because when you just see a bearish divergence on multiple indicators, the divergences can last for days, weeks, even months. Back when Baidu and Roku was having them, those divergences lasted a few months before it actually paid off. So don't go out running grabbing puts on Microsoft, because it could take months, weeks, days for it to play out. So just a matter of when. Tesla, I'm kind of surprised it didn't really do much this week, especially with all the things going on with Elon Musk, and doesn't really seem much affecting much of it at all. So I would watch it over 240. It gets over 240 for push to 245, 250. Gets over 250, actually the 245 area. Could see a nice little push to 250, 260, 265, even 280. So I get a little bit of a gap fill up here at the 290 area. So if it gets to 280, I could try to make a gap fill. We'll have to see if it does do that on Tesla. So not much excitement going on with it, with the Elon Musk drama. So I wasn't quite sure if it was going to have any effect on Tesla. But Netflix read at the trend line, this 485 area, rejected it the first time. Bearish divergence has been going on for a long time on the hourly. RSI is over 80 on the daily. This probably will end up pulling back. I can't imagine it breaking out. It's just gone too far, too fast. The same with SPY. A lot of Microsoft, a lot of the stocks are way overbought. And just because they're overbought doesn't mean they're going to drop. I mean, they can just stay overbought, and RSI could cool down and chop. It could chop, and the RSI could cool down. They can even run even more, because we've seen it before. It's done it before. But something's going to end up happening. VIX is way, way too low. VIX is not staying under 12. Staying under 13. If it does, it's only going to be for a couple days. I don't think it's going to stay under it long. And then, who knows? We could just pull back just a little bit, maybe $5 or $10 on SPY, and then just get the RSIs to cool down, then take off. Who knows? We don't really know. So I would watch Netflix under 475. Yeah, 475, we pushed to 470, 460, basically every $10, 450, 440, 430, 420. I mean, the RCT trend line's way down here on the daily. That's pretty significant on that, because anytime it gets that far away, it comes back down to retest it. Same here, when it gets too far away, it comes back and retests it. This RCT trend line on the daily, weekly, and hourly, they are like huge magnets. Price does not like to go too far away from it. It does eventually come back and retest it. Now, I'm not saying that Netflix is going to come back and dump the 415 or 420 this week. This could be something that could take weeks or months to pan out. So that's my thinking on Netflix. So that's going to be the watch list for the week, and we'll take it day by day and just play accordingly to what we have in the morning. So thanks for watching, and that's it.